How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with an FPL stream, which seems so far away the last time we've done one of these, even though it's only really been like a week and a bit. How's it going, Sherry? Glad that you could join us. Yeah, so we're back. Internationals are over, quote unquote. There's still some internationals still need to be done. Hey, Hoxton, how's it going? Or One Hoxton, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yo, Zaka, how's it going? Crew is back. We are back. It was a game week to kind of forget, to be honest, unless you're on a free hit, in which case you're probably loving life. But I didn't get too much of a red arrow, only 80k, which is better than what I could have expected. Pardon the internet if it does drop a little bit, like if the frames drop a little bit, probably won't be as noticeable, but if it does, apologies. It's not as good as what it normally is, which is usually quite flawless. Right now we're just around 1% drop frames, thereabouts. But if it happens, then yeah, it is what it is. Nothing I can really do about it. But moving on to game week 30, I'm excited about this game week. There's some pretty good fixtures in there. There's some, players that I'm looking to bring in. I got 2 free transfers, and I still don't know what to do. But yeah, could be quite interesting. As normal, we're going to be doing the differentials, the predictions, which will be full of Premier League fixtures this week, not FA Cup fixtures. Yeah, so we should be going through those, and then we'll be taking a look at my transfer plans. I've been putting a few videos up on the channel for the, over the international break. There's going to be a few more coming this week as well on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we'll be back here for the deadline stream as per normal. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. A game week to remember without free hit. Yes, it was a game week to remember if you didn't have a free hit. If you were on a free hit, you probably did okay. Because you probably had triple Brighton defense, you probably had, Rafinha, you had Bamford, you had Kane captain, you probably got like 70-something points, which is pretty good if you think about it. So like if I would have free hit, who would I have had in my team? I probably would have had Bamford instead of Watkins. I probably would have had Jesse Lingard in there. So right off the bat, that's around 20-ish points. I probably would have had triple Brighton defense, so that's another like 18 points, so I probably would have done okay, but all in all, I'm happy with holding on to it because it helps me out later on. So yeah, Lingard captain was fun for me. I bet. Got 56 last game week, so it wasn't too bad. Yep, it's not bad at all. But yeah, all things considered, I didn't, I expected it to be, it's probably a small red arrow, and at this point, 80k, small red arrow, not terrible, as long as I didn't go back to, let's see, where was I, Gameweek history, the green arrow that we got from 755k to 585k, that was a nice green arrow, so I didn't want to go all the way back there. At least I want to have some progress, and I was able to bank a chip, so all things considered, not terrible. In terms of the team, Cresswell coming in, them conceding 3 to Arsenal, which it looked like it was going to be pretty much a stomp. Aina not really getting anything. Lookman getting an assist was nice. Rafinha getting what he got. Kane, captain, obviously helped out a little bit, but everything else is pretty meh. Didn't have any Brighton. Didn't have Bamford, which didn't help. Didn't have any of the Arsenal players. Didn't have Jesse Lingard. So again, it is what it is. We keep on rolling through. And Martinez and Ariel end up getting the same points. So at least I got one decision kind of right. I just played a goalkeeper and they both got the same points. So not too bad. 66 minus 8, not bad. Yeah, what was the average? The average was 25. So if you're looking at 35, 40 points, you're probably on a small red arrow or a gray arrow. If you're looking anything above that, you're looking pretty good. So all things considered, not terrible, but not great either. It's a little bit somewhere in the middle of the road. Like small red arrows like that, it would basically be like if I was in like the top 10k and I got 31 points, I probably would have got a red arrow. Maybe like, maybe I would have double marked to 20k or something like that. Something like around those lines, maybe 15k. Wouldn't have been terrible, but all things considered, we'll keep it going. But yeah, my 2 hits, Veltman and Lingard, made my week. Those are some 2 pretty good hits, to be honest. Because Veltman got assist and a clean sheet with some bonus points. Lingard got goal assist max bonus, something like that. So you're looking pretty good for that one there. Definitely pretty good. But yeah, let's move on to the actual fixtures themselves. Let me see if I have if I can bring up the capture. There we go. That's for the FA Cup fixtures. So we'll do those first and get those done and out of the way with. But yeah, so this was the tweet here. So for our FA Cup fixtures, we got the Southampton. If you don't know how it works, basically it's 3 points for a exact score. It's 2 points for or 1 point rather for a correct result. So you guessed the win for a team and they got the win, and it's 0 points if you get anything otherwise. So Southampton versus Bournemouth didn't get the exact score but predicted the result, so we get 1 point for that. City Everton, we got the exact score, so 3 points there. Chelsea Sheffield United 2-0, we predicted 3-0, so 1 point there. Leicester Man United was the only one we got wrong. United dropping out of that. Leicester getting themselves to a FA Cup semi-final for basically a long time. So yeah, overall, not bad FA Cup fixtures. 3 clean sheets, actually, now that I noticed that, which is quite interesting to see. And then these are the fixtures for the Premier League. Can I send you my wildcard team on Twitter or something? Sure, can do. You definitely can. I got the same for the free hit. They were lit. Yeah, probably pretty good. Lingard, well, Veltman would have been one of the players I was considering bringing in. Lingard I wanted in as well, but just couldn't find a way of getting him. Because if I would have taken out Son and Son would have played and done well, then it would have been bad. But yeah, also, I do have a video up for my wildcard drafts. If I was wildcarding this week, what would I, the options that I would be kind of looking at. Maybe some tweaks here and there. But yeah, make sure to check that out as well. But if you send me it over on Twitter, I'll take a look at it for sure. Maybe on stream, maybe not off stream. It just depends. You've not got your wild card, have you? I don't have my wild card. So the only chips I have is triple captaincy and free hit. What I should do with those two chips, or any chips for that matter, is probably have something like on the visual. I'm currently working with I'm trying to work out what I want to do for like thumbnails and that sort of stuff, and make the graphics a little bit better, to always improving. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can do. I was messing around with some stuff for thumbnails over the weekend, but I want to put a place where I can put like what chips I have available, so it shows like when I potentially, am going to be using the chip or that sort of thing. At least so you can have an idea overall. But in terms of the blank fixtures, so Fulham Leeds was definitely not a no-no. It was a 2-1. It could have been more. So we got that one on. Brighton 3-0 over Newcastle. I predicted 2-0, so 1 point there. West Ham Arsenal was a shootout. Didn't expect that, so we got that one wrong. And then Spurs won 2-0 over Aston Villa, so we got 1 point for that there. So over 8 fixtures, we did pretty good, actually. What's that, 7 points? Not bad. Brighton clean sheet. Yep. Sanchez. Yep. Veltman. Yep. Lingard. Yep. Kane. Yep. I mean, those were just me picking the best players, for that game week. So I don't think I'm gonna get anything much better than that. So yeah. I just have my bench boost now. That's gonna be a tricky chip to use, but like I said, just use it when you have a team where you're looking at it and you're like, I have a few players on my bench that I could possibly play this week over some players in my lineup, but they also have good fixtures too. Should I bench boost? That's what I would say. Graphics change sound good. Yeah, I want to. So this, to me, this is kind of like the starter that I have. The kind of graphics that I went with in the middle of the season. But I'm going to be changing some stuff up. I'll probably change the. I'll probably change like the startup screen. So maybe I would do one so instead of De Bruyne, Trent, and Lundstrom, maybe we'll get some new heroes up there. For the FPL season, I'm trying to think of so like Martinez. Maybe we'll get up there, like players who have done well. Maybe we'll change a little bit, and maybe we'll instead of that moving background, maybe to be a still background. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But the thumbnails is something I'm definitely working on, and that's where we're starting basically, as well as the graphics in the actual videos themselves, because we want that to be a bit more informative, and a lot more detailed next season. We'd like XG prevented, so it'll be a little bit more work on my end, but it'll benefit you all in the future as well. Couldn't send it to you, so I added you in a tweet and said, okay, yeah, we'll check it out. I'll check it out and let you know. Graphics always look good, bro. Hey, I do what I can. To be honest, I didn't know Photoshop. When did I start using it? Trying to think now. It would have been towards the tail end of last season, FPL season. I would have started using it. So that would have technically only been around like July. So it hasn't even been a year, I don't think. So we've done some good stuff, but we will be getting, we'll be upgrading, or at least try and upgrade. So yeah, we move as the FPL community will always say. So yeah, predictions for this week. So right off the bat, we got a fixture that looks to be a pretty clean sheet. Zaka's team, if I remember correctly, is going to be up front and center versus West Brom for the early kickoff. I can't say anything past a Chelsea win and a clean sheet. I think Chelsea are playing really well at the moment. I think they have the best possible draw that they could have definitely gotten for the Champions League. So I'm thinking a comfortable win. If Havertz is plays in that false nine role, they should be able to do well. I'm gonna go with a pretty heavy scoreline. I'm gonna go 3-0. I think Chelsea will start to, Tuchel will have, when his players come back, maybe he's developed something to, get those players involved more often, and get them more on the attacking side of things. Now they have the defensive structure set up. 2012 final all over again. Is that who Chelsea played in a cup final, I guess? Giroud greater than Drogba. I mean, Giroud's pretty good, but Drogba was... Every time I watch United play Chelsea... Oh, Bayern versus Chelsea. I see. Every time I watched Chelsea play United, the first thing I looked at was, is Drogba playing? Because if Drogba's playing, I was like, we're going to have nightmares today. It's gonna be problems. If Drogba wasn't playing, I was happy, and then when he came on the pitch, I wasn't happy. So yeah, he was quite scary. Leeds versus Sheffield United. I think Leeds will get a clean sheet here, to be honest, and I think they'll put a few past Sheffield United. I think another 3-0 is probably on the cards here, personally, and the chat seems to agree. Havertz played well for Germany during the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah, I think he scored. Jones, I believe. Yeah, I believe he scored as well. Chelsea played Porto in the Champions. Yeah, exactly. They have the best possible draw. They could get Porto. Well, they have Porto, which could be quite easy. Then they're playing a potentially aging Real Madrid team who scraped somewhat by Atalanta and were quite fortunate, at least in the first leg. Or a Liverpool team that is quite vulnerable and they've beaten them recently. And then it's a one-off in a final. In a final, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Leicester Man City. Now, the reverse fixture of this, Leicester won 5-2. So, but I think City's evolved since then. I think Leicester could give them a right go, to be honest. I was thinking potentially like a score draw of some kind. It's weird to know what City's formation is going to be in this one. If they go with the false nine, I think they could definitely cause Leicester problems. But Leicester are really, really good, and they'll be happy coming off their win in the FA Cup. I also think that a decent bit of their players aren't on international duty that are important. So Maddison is still recovering but could be back. Barnes is recovering and could be back. Jamie Vardy doesn't play international football. So with those three potentially trying to get to fitness over this break, they could be back in the fold and could be up full strength versus City, which could be quite interesting. Chelsea are the ones to watch. Great at getting a win at the moment. Yeah, they are. They are very good. They are very good. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw. I like the sounds of that. Arsenal versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool are probably gonna take this one. Personally. Hey Mano, how's it going? Yeah, I think Liverpool are probably gonna take this one personally. I think Arsenal, they had to show some determination to get back versus West Ham. But I think West Ham have been guilty of taking their foot off the gas in some games, or being a bit too defensive. I personally think that Liverpool, they have the front players to definitely hurt you, and I think with Jota, Firmino, Salah, Mane, they only need a sniff. But if Arsenal give them that many chances, I mean, they're going to potentially destroy them. I don't see a clean sheet. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool win personally. Controversial 2-1, a 0-0 one. Okay, everyone's disagreeing with me on this one. Everybody's disagreeing with me on this one. Mono says 2-1. Very interesting game. Very interesting game because Arsenal have the form, Liverpool don't, but Liverpool historically have been good versus Arsenal. We will see. Southampton versus Burnley. I think this is probably going to be this is not a game I'm going to want to get up early for to watch. I want to say 1-0 Southampton, but their defense hasn't been great either. And they do have some pretty key injuries. Sherry says 0-0. I don't know. Something in me tells me that it's going to be like a 1-1. Just like a... I don't think both teams are good enough to keep a clean sheet at the moment. On form. I think 1-1 is probably what I'm going to go for. Because, like, when I don't know, I just go for a 1-1, to be honest. International break may help Liverpool gather some confidence for upcoming easier games. Yeah, I mean, some players did go on international duty. So, like Jordan Henderson, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, the long-term injuries like Van Dijk and Gomez have more time to obviously, get back and involved. But apparently, Van Dijk was like, I want to say like a week or so ago. Week and a half ago. There was reports saying that he was like 8 weeks away. Now, there's not 8 weeks really left in the season unless they push it back. So, is he going to be back for the Euros? We don't know. But he could be back, which could be insane. But yeah, it could be interesting. Newcastle versus Spurs. I think you can have literally everyone but Kane out, and they'll probably still win because Newcastle are just bad. I'm just going to go with a Jose Mourinho classic 2-0. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. Son's back, yeah, but Newcastle could probably going to park the bus or whatever. I just think that they don't have anything offered and going forward. Like, Wilson's probably not back. Almiron's back, but he doesn't really do too much. Say Maximin's still injured, I think. I'm going to go with 2-0 because that's just like a comfortable Mourinho scoreline that he likes. Aston Villa versus Fulham. I think this could be a very close game. I think with Grealish back, though, I think it just changes the dimension. So pre-Grealish, I would have said maybe 1-0 Aston Villa. But I think with Grealish back, I think they're going to be a bit more on the front foot. They're going to cause Fulham some problems, which helps the defense because Grealish will then be able to retain the ball a lot more, win more fouls, which ultimately leads Aston Villa having more of the ball, which means the teams have less chance of putting it in Villa's net because they have less of the ball. So I think Aston Villa are going to come back. I think they're going to be, quite comfortable. 2-0 victory, even though Fulham need this game and need to pick some points. I'm going to go with a clean sheet for Villa as well. Would you play Son, Bale, and Kane this week if you had them? 100%. Of course. It's Newcastle. I think the next few weeks, I think if you're up against West Brom, Sheffield United, Newcastle, like those three teams, if you have a player that's versing them, you play them. Pretty much. Unless you know it's a player that's like not going to play. Like, let's say, I don't know. Let's say hypothetically Liverpool was playing Sheffield United this week. I wouldn't play Van Dijk because I know he's not obviously going to play. That sort of thing. But if you have Salah, if you have Mane, if you have those sorts of players, and they were playing Sheffield United, West Brom, whoever, you play them. Play all Spurs. Yeah, definitely play all Spurs for sure. Man United versus Brighton. I think United probably aren't good enough to keep a clean sheet. I think Brighton will make it close. But I think with United will pretty much have everyone fit. Barring maybe Rashford and Martial, which are two big misses. But there are players we can play in their stead potentially to shore that up. Pogba has played on the left, even though he's not the greatest there, but can do a job there. So I think probably defensively, United probably concede one, but 2-1 I think is what I'll go with. And we got a 2-0 and a 1-1. So yeah, again, it's going to be close. I think Brighton are playing pretty good right now, and I think with that win over Newcastle, I think they sealed themselves to be not in the relegation zone as well. I just remember will Son and Bale even play based on injury and Mourinho dropping Bale? I think Son will, if Son's even 70%, he'll play. Bale, I think even off the bench could still be good. I think off the bench he could still be good. So that's why I would play him. Like if it was like, do I want to play Bale off the bench versus Newcastle, or do I play Cancelo versus Leicester? I'm probably playing Bale. Like, even if I knew Cancelo was starting from the beginning. As an example, or Diaz or somebody is going to start. Everton versus Crystal Palace, again, pretty straightforward fixture. Should be some goals in this one for Everton. I think the Crystal Palace they're kind of in cruise control right now. They're not going to get relegated. They're not making any pushes for European places. I think just comfortable 2-0 is what's on the cards here. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. Yeah. Well, pretty much similar-ish predictions there. And last but not least for the predictions, we have Wolves versus West Ham. Now, usually I try to see if, there's usually 1-0-0 in there. And I think this could be a 0-0, to be honest. I think both teams are very defensive. West Ham are away. I think it could be a 0-0. I think if anything, West Ham 1-0, but I'm going to go with a 0-0 here. I think Wolves have been getting better. With the potential that Raul Jimenez could be back sooner before the end of the season, could, lift the spirits a little bit. I think with Lingard playing as well as he is, I think he'll definitely do something. But I think Wolves' defense is always, at least when Lingard's played for United. Now, this is obviously a different outlet than when he's played for West Ham. He struggled in games where teams kind of, sit back a little bit. Arsenal gave him the space. Obviously, he didn't play versus United, but the teams that he has played against have given him space to do stuff, basically. Whereas I don't think Wolves are going to do that. But we will see. If anything, I'll shade it to West Ham. And yeah, differentials and clean sheets this week. Clean sheet, pretty straightforward. Leeds, they're versus Sheffield United. And I think that they should definitely get a clean sheet. If you're conceding Sheffield United, that's probably really bad defending on their part. You still have your free hit, bench boost, and wildcard left? No, free hit and triple captain are the ones I have left. Free hit and triple captain. In goal, with goalkeepers, it's a bit tricky to find around 5%, but I went with Meslier 6.9%. You still have him because you had him for the Gameweek 29. I think it's a perfectly good game week to play him. This is Leeds' last good fixture for the next few games. So I think Meslier should be quite good. In defense, I've gone with Marcos Alonso. So people who are wildcarding in Gameweek 31 in particular, I think Alonso 2.7% as a differential pick under 5% is quite good. He can get a one-off, probably clean sheet, maybe a goal. Maybe a defensive return of some kind. 2.7% is probably a good punt if you're bringing in a Chelsea defender. If it's something for the longer term, I think, like Zaka mentions, Rudiger or even Azpilicueta, these sorts of players are going to definitely play more games. Alonso probably plays 7 and 10, whereas, Rudiger and Azpilicueta are probably going to play 9 and 10. I'm probably going to get Rudiger this week, but I do like the prospect of a 1 week off for Alonso. If I had a wild card in 31, he'd be the guy I'd be bringing in for this week, and then I trade him out for Rudiger, Azpilicueta, somebody who's going to play more consistently because obviously Alonso is a punt. Then we have in midfield, I've gone with Martin Odegaard, actually. I think that he has looked excellent the last few weeks that he's played for Arsenal. I think Liverpool's defense is definitely there to be got at. And I think Odegaard is the key. Him and Smith Rowe with Saka, and then either Aubameyang or Lacazette through the middle. Probably Lacazette, who's been a little bit better. That as a front four have been quite good. And I think that Odegaard has been fantastic. The The only problem is that every time he plays well, he's just jacking up the price tag that Real Madrid's going to want for him if Arsenal were to buy him. But yeah. Yeah, or Mendy as well, as Hoxton's mentioned as well. Up the Norwegians. Up the Norwegian flag. Norway is surprisingly a very good team, actually, now that I think about it. You know, they have Odegaard with Haaland up front. Not a bad little duo to have on your team. Will Smith Rowe play enough to put in the wild card? I think he is. You know, he should be playing. He should be playing a lot more than, you know, he should be one of the first names on the team sheet because he is quite good. He's a cheap player. So if he's going to be like your fifth midfielder and you're only going to play 4 midfielders and you're going to go with 3-4-3 for the rest of the season or 5-4-1 or something like that, then yeah, I think he's perfect on. They lost 3-0 against Turkey. Oh, yikes. Okay, maybe not so good. Well, at least Odegaard and Haaland are going to be good. They didn't do anything versus Gibraltar. Yeah, not ideal. Good women's team. I think it's the U.S. women's team that's the best, right? Is it U.S. or England or France? I can't remember. I don't really keep up with it too much, but yeah. U.S. Okay, yeah. I figured as much because they were like super good. And then lastly for the forward line, I think Cavani, because if Martial is out, which he could be out potentially with a knee injury, Cavani 1.7% own, could be one week punt. He's versus Brighton. And his next 4 fixtures aren't too bad. So you have Brighton, you have Burnley and Leeds in those 4 fixtures, with Spurs sandwiched in between. So I think he could potentially be someone there as well. But yeah, those are the differential picks and predictions. But yeah, I try to see if I can get players that are 5% or less. That's what kind of constitutes as a differential. I believe Werner is more than that. If I have to just check. Is Timo Werner more than 5%? I believe he is. Yeah, see, he's 11.1%. I try to go with players that are 5%. Or less if I can. With goalkeeper, it's a bit tricky in most cases, but yeah. Would you play Stones or Kufal this week? I would probably play Kufal just because I know that for certain he's going to start. Stones will have to play a Champions League game midweek after this weekend. So basically, the run of play, as if I remember correctly, is Premier League on the weekend, Europe in midweek, Premier League for game week 31, Europe in midweek. Anyone who plays an FA Cup fixture will play it on the weekend. If not, you're playing Premier League, and those who play FA Cup will then play midweek the following week. Then the weekend is Premier League for 33 with the blank for the Carabao Cup teams with Spurs and City. That's the run of order for the next few weeks anyway. I love Cavani, but isn't he having beef with United at the moment? Yeah, but I think if he's fit, he plays. Like, there's some players that aren't happy, but they will, when they play, they do well. And if Martial's out, I don't see a reason why Cavani shouldn't not play, because I don't think the South American teams were able to go on international duty. I could be wrong, though. Percentage of Iheanacho's. Iheanacho. I'm trying to be like phonetically say his name. 2.8%, so he is a very good differential. The only reason I wouldn't bring him in is because obviously he plays City, he plays West Ham, but then he plays West Brom. This fixture. So for those of you looking at this and seeing that the 32 is a blank, based on what Ben Crellin is saying, and I believe him because he knows what he's talking about, these fixtures won't be played on the weekend. So if we look at somebody like Target, for an example. Oh, never mind, Target's a bad example. Aina, hopefully. So Aina plays Arsenal on the 17th of April. That's on a Saturday. So what will happen is the teams that are playing in the FA Cup won't play on the Saturday or Sunday. They'll play on the Tuesday or Wednesday, but it'll still be in Game Week 32. They just haven't officially announced it yet, because it's TV rights and whatnot. But yeah, quality player at the moment. Yeah, he's doing quite good. Captain, Kane versus Newcastle or Bamford or Rafinha versus Sheffield United? I think Kane, personally. I think Kane for sure. What would be the best Chelsea player to bring in just for 1 week only? Just as Zaka says, Alonso. I think Alonso's definitely a good 1 week punt, for sure. Either that or Kai Havertz would be my other guess. Or my other one that I would choose. Alonso or Havertz, yeah. They are the two. I mean, they are the two. Havertz is looking like an uptick in form, and Alonso is someone who's probably going to play 7 out of 10, but you could probably think, like, if we look at, let me bring up Alonso. So if we look at Alonso's when he's played, right? So if you guys can see here, look at the teams he's played against. Burnley, Spurs, Newcastle, Southampton, and Everton, right? These are all teams that have a decent bit of set piece threat in their own right, or at least try to have set piece threat, and don't have as much pace. With the Spurs game, it was a bit just like, well, we're going to play him again because he did well in the first game. But like Sheffield United have like a decent bit of pace on the break. Not crazy, but a decent bit. Newcastle don't really, at least not without Wilson. You can just kind of just mark St. Maximin out of the game with one of the 3 center backs. Southampton don't really have much pace on the break. Like, you know, Ings and Che Adams get around, but they're not extremely fast. United definitely do. Liverpool definitely do. Everton only really have Calvert-Lewin. Yes, they have Richarlison, but you just hack him down. And then Leicester, obviously, do as well. So he's playing against the teams that kind of sit in a little bit. And I think that's quite good. And then he's up against West Brom. Don't have really that much pace on the break. We'll try to lump the ball forward. Very similar to Burnley-ish with a little bit more, flair about it, I guess. Actually, flair and Sam Allardyce don't really go in the same sentence unless it doesn't have for his team. Isn't in that same sentence. But, yeah, I think for a one-off, I think Alonso is definitely good. Then Chilwell starts. Yeah, basically Chilwell would start in the other games, basically. Defensive, boring teams? Yeah, kind of, yeah. And even against Spurs, he, Tuchel was probably saying, hey, look, Mourinho's going to park the bus and try to hit us on the break. But we know that as long as we stop Son from getting in behind, we're fine. And just hack Kane when he gets the ball, pretty much. It's basically what you have to do. It's very easy to beat Spurs, because Bale's not going to beat you with blistering pace on the counter. Like, he's mobile enough, but he's not, like, scary mobile. Good positioning will stop him. Kane, you just pressure him as soon as he gets the ball. And Son, you just make sure that you have 2 of your 3 center backs looking at him at the whole time. And then you're okay. And that's why you have, Hudson-Odoi or somebody like that playing right wing back, because he could track back. And then you have Azpilicueta, who's very smart at, the way he defends. But, yeah, could be quite interesting. In terms of my team, this is how we line up at the moment. So we got Martinez in goal. We got Cresswell, Target, and Shaw in our back line. With our other 2 defenders, Cancelo and Aina, on the bench. We got De Bruyne, Rafinha, Gundogan, Son in midfield, with our 5th midfielder and Lookman on the bench. We've chosen, obviously, Martinez over Areola because he is the home fixture, and he's obviously a better goalkeeper and will probably concede less. And with Grealish, that'll probably give him a little bit of boost. And then we still have Vardy, we have Watkins, and we have Kane with captaincy on him at the moment. I'm tempted to hang on to Vardy, and the reason being is because he did score versus Man City last time they played him. He got 3 goals versus them. 2 were penalties, but he does like scoring versus the big teams, and City have been showing a bit of frailties recently, and I just hope it's a bit of a scoring fest like it was last time they played. Watkins, obviously, because he has a home fixture versus Fulham, don't really want to get rid of him. And then Kane is in there with the captain's armband. There is arguments for Bruno if I bring him in. There's arguments for maybe as a kind of a cheeky punt, maybe like Havertz, because I can obviously, if Son's injured, I could easily swap him, like downgrade him. But I can also get Bruno in for Son as well if I make another transfer elsewhere, which is probably likely. But yeah, many different things I can do. For my wildcard at 31, keep Martinez or go with the crowd and get Mendy. I think with Martinez, you got to be looking at what fixtures he's probably going to keep a clean sheet in. So his game in 32 is going to be versus Man City, I believe. I think Everton is the fixture they still have to make up. But he does have a double soon. I would say probably Martinez is probably worth hanging on to. And then maybe you organize a transfer down the line when he goes to basically, after Everton probably. So you can have him for Fulham, West Brom, even Liverpool. They won 7-2 the last time they played, so maybe you get something there. Everton, again, when they play against teams that are like middle of the table or teams that potentially they should be beating, they don't. But I would say Mendy's definitely good. The only thing is with Mendy, if you take a look at Chelsea's fixtures, from 34 onwards, you're looking at from after 34, you're looking at pretty bad fixtures. Brighton will be in 32. But then, after Fulham, you got Man City, Arsenal, Leicester, Aston Villa. Now, could they keep a clean sheet versus Man City? Possible. Arsenal? Possible. Leicester? Possible. Aston Villa? Possible. Like, Chelsea are doing so good now that they could potentially keep a clean sheet versus anyone. So it is a bit tricky. But with Martinez, if you look at fixtures head-to-head from 30 to 34, Chelsea have 1, 2, 3, 3.5, I would say, good fixtures, because Brighton's obviously a little bit trickier now. With Aston Villa, they have 1, 2, 2.5, because Liverpool and City are always going to be tricky. So it is quite tricky. I would probably side with Mendy personally. I would go with the Chelsea double up. I would go with Mendy. And Antonio Rudiger. Another goalkeeper that if I knew his fitness at the moment would be Rui Patricio. I mean, he has that hand injury, but apparently it's not as serious as they initially thought. But you're looking at him potentially clean sheets for the rest of the season. West Ham typically have not scored very many. Obviously with Jesse Lingard, that's changed. Fulham, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Brom, Brighton. Those could be 5 clean sheets in a row. And Wolves have been quite streaky. I remember having, I think it was Patricio and not Seiss. It was Patricio and one of their defenders last season on the double up, and I was getting double clean sheet, double clean sheet, double clean sheet, double clean sheet for like 7 or 8 game weeks, like out of like 9 or something like that. It was pretty crazy. And then Spurs typically don't score very many. Maybe he gets a 0-0 there. Everton again against the teams that frustrate them or they should be beating, they typically don't. And then Man United at home. I mean, anything on the last day of the season is possible. So I think Patricio is definitely being underlooked. It's just the fact that, is he fit? Is his head injury going to cause some problems? And if he's not fit, let's say he is out for a significant period of time, I mean, 4.3 million, Ruddy is probably your answer. To be honest, what you can do on the wildcard, see, I wouldn't go more than a double up on Wolves, and I probably wouldn't bring in an attacker unless Raul Jimenez we knew was going to be back for the before the end of the season in these good fixtures. Which if anything, he'll probably be back in May, maybe, but you don't know. You can go with you can go with Ruddy as your backup goalkeeper, Patricio as your main goalkeeper, so your goalkeeper is going to play, and then go with a Wolves defender like Connor Cody. And then you can have the double up. And that would look quite good as well. Do you or anyone think Havertz will keep playing the number 9 if he doesn't know? I don't know. I think Havertz should keep playing the number 9 because he's been playing well. I mean, I don't pay intently to Chelsea the way they play. Outside of the Premier League or in Europe or international football, but I do watch pretty much every Premier League minute. But I think that from what I've seen of Havertz, he does well in that role, and that's exactly what Tuchel has said. He wants to keep him close to the goal, which someone playing out of position, playing as a striker, basically, is good. But it's a matter of Tuchel likes to rotate his squad quite a bit. Not so much in defense, and maybe a tweak here or there in midfield, but his forward line, it could be basically anyone every week, so it is a bit tricky. Think about Mendy and Meslier for the next few weeks. Yeah, it could be good as well. Mendy's probably enough, but I mean Meslier is only, if you've had him since he's 4.5, it's not, you know, the end of the world. But yeah, I've had Vardy and he hasn't done well. And basically, the one fixture that I was hoping, like, since I had him, I think I had him since 20. Did I have him since 20? Yeah, I had him since 25 because I thought the double was good. Didn't get anything there. Didn't get anything versus Brighton. And I was going to get rid of him after Sheffield United, but the 3 assists with Iheanacho playing made me think, you know what? Man City at home, is that the worst fixture? Maybe nicks something on the break. Maybe it's a penalty. West Ham away isn't terrible, and then he's got West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Newcastle. And then I could potentially get rid of him. So, we'll see. It just makes getting in the likes of Salah and whatnot a little bit more difficult. If I want them. But in terms of, like, you know, for Liverpool, if I just bring up Salah. Their fixture, so Arsenal away, you know, they could probably get something there, but Salah away typically isn't great. Aston Villa at home. Aston Villa did quite well versus them last time. And those would be 2 gauges for me to see whether Liverpool are back. Then Leeds away. That could be good. Newcastle at home is free hit week. So we'll definitely have them in for that. Man United away. Probably don't want them there. Then for the rest of the season, probably want to double up. Maybe even a triple up. Maybe even a triple up. I was thinking Trent, Jota, Salah, maybe. It depends on what's happening. Because again, these things can change with European football. You know? If, let's say, you know, we're all saying, hey, look, Salah's going to be, you know, Newcastle at home. That looks like a great fixture. But that could be before potentially, you know, a European Cup semi-final. I don't know when those fixtures fall, but that's what it could be. You know, it could be Newcastle on the weekend, and then they play Chelsea at home. First leg. I mean, they'll probably play both. But, you know, Chelsea home first leg, and then they have Man United away on the weekend. You know, that could be something that could be quite difficult for them to do after having to probably, you know, rule it out against Real Madrid. So, could be quite tricky. Liverpool is a big unknown at the moment. And Jota? Yeah, Jota is... I think Jota is somebody who should play basically... He should start every game. He's that good. I think he is the difference maker. I think he is somebody who allows for Liverpool to basically get away with the fact that they have defensive frailties at the back. And as the lowest cost out of all of their front men, as somebody who seems to get into the scoring positions that Firmino's been finding himself in, where he hasn't been able to put them away. And that's the reason why I think what the Van Dijk injury has basically caused. It's a big ripple effect. So basically, what happens? Van Dijk gets injured, Gomez gets injured. 2 players that like to play the ball out long from the back. They like to put it into the channel for the likes of Firmino and Salah, who like to go wide, come in, link play with Firmino. They slot them in a 1v1 versus the goalkeeper from in and around the box, and then they shoot. What's happening now? That's not happening. They play the ball out into midfield instead of just bypassing the midfield. It goes to Thiago, who wants to pick a pass. He then plays the ball into Salah and Mane, who've already made their runs closer towards the goal. They can't shoot. They play it to Firmino, who's somewhat open. Then he has to shoot because he's in a good enough position to do so, and then he can't score. That's kind of what happens. Whereas Jota is somebody who adds that little bit extra in and around the box. And if you play 4 up front, it makes that Firmino can drop off, Jota can go in behind, Mane and Salah can cut in, a lot of the fullbacks coming around, and basically you could just play what Klopp played in the season. They got 97 points, and Man City beat them by 1 point that season, before Liverpool ended up winning the league. You just try to score 4 if you can see 3. Like, that's what you're gonna have to do. Score twice in the internationals. Yeah, Salah typically does well in internationals as well. He typically does do quite well for his country. But yeah, those fixtures definitely cannot be ignored. You know, Arsenal away. You know, Arsenal have been doing quite well. Aston Villa at home again with Grealish back. Are they a different outlet? Maybe. Leeds is definitely scary and could be a point where they score a lot of goals. I mean, they played each other at the start of the season. It was 4-3. So it could be a shootout there. Newcastle, definite. Man United away, probably not great. But if you have them beforehand, you don't have a free hit in 33. Like, I can get away with potentially not bringing in a double up for 32. Maybe I just get in Jota as an example for 32. Then I free hit in 33, bring in Salah, bring in, I was going to say Firmino, have Jota, bring in Trent, and then not have just the one for Man United away, maybe bench them, and then bring them in by saving a transfer potentially. Will you look at my team before I go to sleep, or will you do it later? I will probably do it later. I'll probably do it later once I'm offline. Either before I go to sleep, or I'll usually when I wake up, the first thing I look at is stuff on YouTube or Twitter. Kind of just scroll around as I'm half asleep with one eye open because the phone's too bright. Yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold could be quite good, I think. He was starting to show a little bit more form for the international break, but when he has played. But maybe he's gotten the time now to take a break, reset himself, and then go in for the stretch after not being picked for England. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by, Zaka. I know it is late o'clock for you. Gameweek 31 question, but is Liverpool's Phillips played enough games much cheaper than Trent? Yes, I mean, he is someone who's going to probably play week in, week out for Liverpool. It's just with Trent, if you're obviously looking for just a cheap alternative, obviously Phillips is someone you can definitely get. There is obviously a slight concern that he may, like Reece Williams or somebody may play instead of him, but Trent is just somebody who, if you're going to get clean sheets, if you know for certain you're going to get clean sheets, Trent can definitely provide attacking returns against weaker opposition, and he's on set pieces, which a lot of these teams are very bad at. So like Burnley hasn't been as great on them as what they normally would be. West Brom aren't. Crystal Palace aren't. Sheffield United have been inconsistent. Newcastle are not great. Leeds are one of the worst. Arsenal as well. And I think Trent is potentially looking to redeem himself. He wants to buy himself a spot for the Euros. So he's definitely going to want to get involved. Near 1 a.m. here too. Thanks for the stream. I'll put my team up on Twitter. Yeah, if you shoot me a message and at me on Twitter, I'll take a little look. Typically. But yeah, if you're looking for somebody cheap, Phillips is definitely possible. But again, you have to remember that potentially Fabinho can always fill in. And then one of the center backs of Kabak or Phillips can be taken out. But again, we'll see. People are mentioning Trent now, and I've got a feeling he's going to hole in the next few weeks. Well, if he's if there's 1 week he's probably going to hole in, it's probably going to be this one. Maybe this one. We'll see. But again, still not entirely sure. That's why I'm giving these 2 weeks. So if Liverpool still look awful versus Arsenal and Aston Villa, I won't necessarily bring them in versus Leeds, who are quite attacking. Newcastle, I can always obviously free hit. Man United wouldn't want them in, and then I'll probably have a double or triple in the run-in, just because the fixtures are so good. So probably definitely what we're working with. In terms of the team as it stands now, I think Kane, obviously the captain, Vardy vice captain, just makes the most sense because they're the most likely to both play. Son is obviously the only flag we have in our team at the moment. I know that Bruno Fernandes can't play, I believe, in his next game because he's suspended for the international fixture, which makes him available for United, obviously, or not likely to get injured. So he's probably someone that's definitely on my mind to bring in, potentially either for De Bruyne or Son. We'll see. Good call. Yeah, I mean, it's those last few fixtures that are the most, like that and the Newcastle fixtures, kind of ones you look at. Hey, Oliver, how's it going? That's a solid team. It can definitely improve. It can definitely improve. for sure. I would probably say the things that I'm worried about at the moment. What are the fixtures this week? Well, I'm gonna get a Chelsea defender in. I'm definitely worried about City keeping a clean sheet. That would be annoying for those that play him. Like my defense, I look at my defense and I say those should be 4 clean sheets there, but there's something in the back of my mind where it's like it's a bit tricky. You know, I think that they might be, you know, might be a goal nicked in some of those games. Scared me for a sec. I thought he wouldn't play against Brighton, then I had him capped. No. He's gonna play versus Brighton. It is good news for Bruno. He was suspended for the international game of whoever they're playing. Probably mouthing off of the referee as normal. Yeah, it makes it so that he gets a little bit of a rest. I think he still has to stay with the team and whatnot, but I think that's what somebody told me. But I would say again, I was never going to make any transfers before the the Friday press conferences. Spaced out on the word there. Before the Friday press conferences. So yeah, I was definitely always going to wait, especially with the news of Son. I was definitely always going to wait. I don't trust West Ham with their clean sheets because of Dawson. He's really rusty. Well, he may have had some more time to, get himself, shake his mind off of, scoring a goal and whatnot. But I think West Ham and Wolves could be a no-no, honestly. I think I shade West Ham slightly, but I don't think Wolves' attack is great. I think they can keep clean sheets for sure. Maybe they nick something, but I think West Ham is... if they're gonna seriously want to push to the top, they're gonna want to have to win these games versus Wolves. Luke Shaw assist at least. Yeah, exactly. Luke Shaw got a pretty good assist. I think a lot of people were ranting and raving and how good the cross was. It was a good cross. He put it in the right area, but Kane definitely had to come towards the ball, which obviously most strikers should do. But the defender's literally looking at it, watching the ball fly in, and then he must just see Harry Kane-sized shadow just bolt in front of him and knock the ball in his net. As a defender, you see the ball coming, it's going to drop in front of me potentially. I need to probably run at that and head it out. Wasn't the greatest defending, but hey, England did what they had to do. I feel like Vestergaard has a lot of good fixtures coming up. Let's find out. Let's see, Vestergaard, all players, Vestergaard. Yeah, Burnley, West Brom. In 32, they'll play Crystal Palace. In 33, they cannot play versus Spurs, but again, it could be a double somewhere. Yeah, could be quite interesting. Leicester, Liverpool, not great. Fulham, Leeds could be good. Fulham, Leeds, West Ham, maybe. But again, I just don't see them keeping clean sheets. I find Southampton so porous at the back. I mean, there was a point where they were literally first in the league. They were literally first at one point. And I think they've gotten 15 points since then. And that was Gameweek 8. It was nuts. So, but yeah, could be interesting. I mean, he's definitely good for a set-piece goal. That's for sure. The dude's about 8'9" or whatever he is. He is definitely massive. West Ham defender, no option. Cresswell or Dawson, I think, are perfectly fine. Kufal or Sufal, however you want to pronounce it, is definitely good as well. I think Cresswell, if you have a double up potentially from 34 through 38, you're looking pretty good. But obviously the Newcastle fixture's good, the Wolves fixture's good. Yeah. They bottled it just like Spurs. Yeah, I mean, yeah. A lot of teams have said they've quote unquote bottled it this season, but I think just some teams are just finding it really difficult. I think there's more injuries than ever this season. For one, because the football is so close to last season, and two, just maybe potentially the lack of maybe motivation from the fans is making teams play a little bit more. This is one of the worst Premier League seasons, if not the worst Premier League season in years, for sure. I think next season will be a bit different. Proper preseason, fans back in the ground, all those sorts of things will definitely help. But in terms of transfers, basically what I'm looking at is Cancelo's probably going to make way. We'll bring in Antonio Rudiger, assuming he's fit. I know he's gone up in price, but it's not the end of the world. If Son is fit, we'll probably likely get rid of De Bruyne and bring in Fernandes. Because with City, you just don't know what's gonna happen. And then we can do like a bit of a flip-flop back and forward with Fernandes and De Bruyne if we so feel. But I think Spurs away isn't the worst. But De Bruyne versus Leeds at home, maybe they can probably get away with not playing him there and maybe focus him on it, because they do have Dortmund who are quite good. And that's maybe what I'll go with. Then I'll probably hang on to some players, and then I'll probably look in 32 to potentially look to change some players out. Maybe that's when I'll get rid of the likes of maybe Rafinha goes there, maybe Lookman goes, and basically look to bring in somebody in a more mid-price midfield slot. Maybe we can go up to the likes of Madison is somebody who I really like and hope he stays fit. There's many different things we can do, but I think Rudiger and Fernandes are probably the two that are probably going to come in. Gives me quite a bit of money in the bank. Allows me to keep Vardy as well. And basically, I would play 3-4-3. I would probably put Target on the bench, just because I have Martinez as the cover anyway, and I like Cresswell versus Wolves potentially. If Ruddy's in goal, especially because maybe he's not as comfortable on set pieces as like the likes of Patricio would be. So yeah, could be quite good there. Thoughts on Haaland coming to the Premier League next year? He's going to be an insane FPL asset. I think it was FPL Joe, or somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody put on Twitter when they saw the announcement for Aguero retiring or leaving Man City at the end of the season. He basically put, so how much we think Haaland's going to be, 12 or 12.5 million? Well, me personally, I think Haaland stays at Dortmund for the summer. The reason being is because nobody's paying 180 million euros or whatever they want for him. And next season, you can get him for literally a third of the price. 65 million pounds, he's yours next season. And I think Dortmund won't want that, obviously. But Mino Raiola and Haaland will want that, because they'll say, okay, well, I'm cheaper this season because of my release clause. That means you give me, the player, more money, and me, the agent, more money because he likes money. That's how I think. And I think if Sancho were to go, let's say to a Real Madrid, a PSG, a Man United, whoever, I think they wouldn't want to lose both of them in the same summer. And I think they'll definitely want to keep Haaland for one more season if they can. I think nobody's going to have the funds to do it. I think City and PSG do have the funds, but it's just a matter of, and City have never really gone out and been like, here's 100+ million on one player. They've done the 60 million here, 55 here, 60 million here, but they do like 4 or 5 of those, and it ends up adding up. They never done it on one big player, so be interesting to see. Maybe Chelsea as well, but I think Haaland came out himself and says he doesn't want to go to Chelsea, so could be interesting. Especially because of the lack of good strikers this year. Yeah, I mean, he would be... I mean, I'm curious to know what they price him at. If he was at City, and he was 9 million, I would have him immediately. I wouldn't even think about not captaining him every week. Like, it would just be like captain, because like the amount of chances that City players miss in front of goal that he just won't is going to be nuts. Honestly, think West Ham will finish top 4 or 5 this season. Very, very well could. Very well could. Honestly, I'm a Chelsea fan. I feel like Lukaku suits our system more, and he's more of a Premier League experience. I think Lukaku originally wanted to go to Chelsea, but he ended up going to Man United because we wanted Morata, and it actually was the other. So Chelsea wanted Lukaku, Man United wanted Morata, and then at the last second they changed player, which is weird because then both players ended up not doing as well as they could have. And I think Lukaku definitely fits Tuchel's system quite well. A very organized team, a team that will, when they do create chances, will be high quality. And I think that once they get that system down, they just need somebody to tap the ball in the net. And I think once they got their defensive structure in place, and Tuchel's team with that 5-man attack, you'll have Lukaku in the box. You'll have Werner out on the left-hand side. You'll have maybe a Ziyech or a Mount on the right, and then you have the wing backs assisting that. And that's basically all you need. Also, you have some serious aerial threat with Alonso and Lukaku in the box just all the time. Like, crosses should be no problem. I'll take him as well, but I think Haaland is there. I think Haaland will. I think he's gonna stay. I think he's gonna stay. They need a striker other than Jesus. Yeah, I mean that's true. Be surprised what Roman can do at Chelsea. I mean, Roman Abramovich, he might spend some money, but I just don't see them paying 150 million. I don't see anyone paying 150 million for Haaland. I think what you do is this season, like this transfer window, you set up an agreement with him for next season when his release clause goes on and be like, hey, look, we'll pay the 65 million pounds for your release clause, but we offer the best wages. We'll give you 350k a week. We'll give your agent 15 million in fees or whatever it is, because they know they're saving 80 million quid on not paying 150 million that summer. How about Odegaard for the Arsenal fixtures? Yep, he was our differential midfielder for this week. Agreed that Lukaku could be good at Chelsea. Yep, definitely. I think so. I think United just don't create chances, and I think Tuchel's system will eventually pick up the amount of chance creation. And then once you have the amount of chance creation with the defense, I think that's when you can be quite scary. Still not sure about him picking up a lot of points. Odegaard is a player that looks to play. He plays well every time he plays for Arsenal. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Is he going to be an FPL asset? Like, there are players that look great. N'Golo Kante, prime example. Fantastic player. Terrible FPL option. Never would pick him. And that's mainly because of his role. Yeah, it is what it is. But, yeah. I think that's going to do it here. Like I said, Rudiger in and Fernandes in will probably be the two players for Cancelo and De Bruyne. Obviously, if Son's injured, that changes some things. But we have till the deadline stream to figure that out. Press conferences will be out on Friday. But as it stands now, we got Martinez, Cresswell, Target, Shaw, De Bruyne, Rafinha, Gundogan, Son, Vardy vice-captain, Watkins, and Kane with the armband, with Areola, Cancelo, Lookman, and Aina on the bench. But yeah, make sure to look up for all the videos as well. I'll be posting those later on in the week. But let's go over to the big screen. Yeah, if you haven't done so already, make sure to give us a follow here on Twitch. Follow us over on Twitter so you can see all the up-to-date content over there. And if you have any team news or anything like that that you want to share for your wildcard, because I know some people are definitely on it, and I'm interested to see what people are going for, post it over on Twitter. Just at me, and I'll take a look at it. And see, basically put my 2 cents in on it. Obviously, you don't have to always go with what I say. It's about opinion. But I'll give you my suggestions as to what I think what I would go with. Hopefully, we can cruise on in this final stretch for the top 100k and hopefully the top 10k. It's still definitely in the realms of possibility. Just got to get the triple captaincy and the free hit right. Got to get the transfers right, captaincies right. But yeah. Top 100k is definitely a minimum goal. Top 10k is definitely what I want to get. But we will see. And then, yeah, we'll be back for the deadline stream as well. So make sure to come check us out for that. That's going to be 5 a.m. EST time. Yeah, it's early on the Saturday start time as per normal. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. And until the next one, take care.